This is a house that makes everyone shudder upon setting foot in it, challenging their steely spirit. Welcome back to TITOV5 Exploration. Dear friends, have you ever dreamed of a place completely free from the noise and hustle of the outside world? A place where tranquility is not just a concept but a true way of life. Today, we will explore the most mysterious and isolated houses in the world together. Be prepared, because these houses are about to be explored, not for the faint of heart. Imagine having to live alone for weeks, with only the sound of waves around you. That's the daily work of lighthouse keepers. If you think living in a coastal lighthouse is lonely enough, you probably haven't heard of the Tridronkaviti Lighthouse. This is not an ordinary lighthouse by the shore. It stands proudly on a desolate rock pillar, nearly 8 kilometers from the southern coast of the island. Built in 1938, workers risked their lives climbing slippery rocks, braving storms and rain to lay the foundation stones by hand. But even if construction was a nightmare, living atop a rock pillar over 6 meters high amid the cold Atlantic storms. With no signs of life, no distress signals, certainly few of us could bravely experience that life. Fortunately, this lighthouse was automated upon completion. And thanks to modern technology, a helicopter landing pad was built on top for easy access. But it must be admitted that any place requiring a helicopter to reach is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Just Enough Room Island. This is one of 1,800 islands scattered along the Lawrence River, near Alexandria, New York, with an area of just over 300 square meters. This tiny island is even smaller than a standard tennis court. Despite its small size, it is still home to a rather risky house. In the 1950s, the Stalin family bought the island to turn it into an ideal retreat. But in reality, it wasn't entirely a dream. Frequent high tides often threaten the house with flooding, and sandbags have almost become mandatory furniture here. Interestingly, although located in the middle of the river, Serhinot still has neighbors just 76 meters away. But if you had to swim breaststroke to visit, you'd probably agree that living here is truly a tough life. SOWA1. Those afraid of heights will breathe a sigh of relief knowing there are no huts on the Matterhorn summit. However, attached right near the summit, hidden at an astonishing altitude of over 4,000 meters, is the SOWAY hut. Considered an architectural feat and an extraordinary testament to human will. This height is enough for anyone falling from there to take about 30 seconds to hit the ground. This is dangerous but also proof of human extraordinariness. In daring to erect a hut right in the middle of such a towering ridge. The SOWAY hut was built in 1915, with the first stones transported to an altitude of 3,048 meters. From there, a small cable system was established to bring materials up to the dizzying height of 4,003 meters. It's hard to believe, but that small structure still stands after more than a century. Serving as a shelter for climbers after 3 hours of arduous journey. With 10 simple bunks and a radio telephone. The SOWAY hut becomes a small, hidden paradise. Nevertheless, few dare to fall asleep here, as no one knows what might happen next. 4. The Desert House. Leaving behind vast wetlands, let's venture into a place where even life struggles to survive. The Sierra Desert in northern Spain is one of Europe's harshest desert regions. Famous for its wild landscapes, deep canyons, and scorching heat reaching up to 38 degrees Celsius. With such extreme arid conditions, who would dare think of building a house in this desolate land? Yet the desert house appeared, as if challenging human limits. This house not only boasts modern beauty with its transparent glass design, but is also bold in its idea of using entirely natural resources. Collecting, filtering, and using rainwater may sound simple. But in a place where there are only a few small rains a year, you can imagine how difficult survival is. Not only that, the house's location adds to the feeling of isolation. It is over an hour's walk from the nearest town, Gira. However, Desert House still attracts those who love uniqueness and adventure. With a price of up to $375 per night, equivalent to over 9.5 million Vietnamese dong. This is not only a resort but also a challenge to test oneself and contemplate the smallness of humans in the vastness of nature. If you want to explore, prepare thoroughly from food and water, to the courage to face the intense silence of the desert. 5. Elliday Island. Iceland seems to be the homeland of strange isolated places. About 16 kilometers east of the Dongaviti Lighthouse, you will encounter Elliday, a small island with pristine beauty. Quietly located nearly 8 kilometers off the southern coast of Iceland, with an area of just over 44 hectares, Elliday is like a tiny dot in the ocean. But the strangest thing is that there is a solitary house standing tall on it. It is rumored that this place was built by a billionaire to escape from a zombie apocalypse. It sounds fascinating, but in reality, this house was built by the Elliday Hunting Association in the 1950s. This is a temporary stopover for puffin hunters, and no one actually lives here. To reach Elliday, you must endure a difficult journey, traveling by boat for 35 minutes, then climbing over slippery cliffs. But in return, when you set foot on the island, you will find a cozy house with 10 beds, a kitchen, and a bathroom. Expect modern amenities as tap water doesn't. Everything depends on collected rainwater and careful usage. During the day, Elliday is a pristine paradise. But when night falls, everything becomes mysterious. Thick fog covers the island and the constant sound of waves crashing around easily makes you feel like the protagonist in a horror story. So, would you like to try living here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Next, let's visit the Ternina River, a 346 kilometers long river flowing through Bosnia and Herzegovina and Srebrenica, which hides a surprising scene that amazes everyone. Right in the middle of the river, a strange hut called the Ternina River House appears like a scene from a fairy tale. Although less than 1.6 kilometers from the town of Basina Basta. To get here, you must cross a river up to 120 meters wide, equivalent to the length of 2 Olympic swimming pools. This is truly a challenge not for those afraid of water. This hut was built in 1968 by a group of swimmers. They accidentally discovered this ideal rock while looking for a place to sunbathe. So impressed, they decided to build a hideaway in nature. They used kayaks to transport materials and drop large blocks into the river, letting the current carry them to the right location. However, this small house has faced the harshness of nature, destroyed by the river no less than 7 times. But despite everything, it still exists today, standing as a symbol of resilience. Remember to bring a life jacket if you plan to visit. Life here is often for those who love adventure and risk-taking. 7. Desolation Peak. Although swimming across the Ternina River to reach the floating milk house is not an easy task, compared to the journey to Desolation Peak, it seems much gentler. Desolation Peak, true to its name, is completely isolated from the outside world. Located at an altitude of 1,860 meters above sea level, double the height of Burj Khalifa. This place is only for those who are truly brave. To reach this simple hut, you must traverse 6.4 kilometers, equivalent to about 4 hours of hiking, through treacherous slopes, and the nearest town is also over 64 kilometers away. This hut is located in Catlett Park, in the state of Washington. Built in 1932 by the U.S. Forest Service to serve as a fire lookout station. In the summer, a man will live here from July to September. Completely isolated from the world with only himself as a companion. If you plan to visit, prepare thoroughly. The arduous mountain climbing journey will certainly exhaust your body, but once you arrive, you will be rewarded with spectacular scenery and rare tranquility in life. Just make sure you bring enough food and drinks, as there certainly won't be any convenience stores here. Nestled among the rugged rocky terrain of Ciampigliano, Italy, San Colombo Hermitage is not only a religious site but also a symbol of the bond between humans and nature. Built at a height of 120 meters on a sheer cliff, this hermitage resembles a miraculous wonder carved into the mountain rock. Viewed from afar, you'll feel as if this structure is suspended between heaven and earth, perfectly blending with the surrounding landscape. According to historical records, since the 8th century, monks have come here to meditate, leaving the noisy world behind and focusing on spiritual life. In the 10th century, the hermitage was expanded on a larger scale, including a small church and exquisite frescoes on the walls. Today, although no longer used as a monastic residence, San Colombo still attracts visitors with its unique beauty and historical value. However, seeing this hermitage with your own eyes is not an easy task. First, you must traverse a winding stone path leading to the base of the cliff. Then, the real challenge begins with 102 steps carved directly into the rock. A journey enough to make anyone's legs feel weary. But when you reach the top, the sense of achievement and the breathtaking view will make all the effort worthwhile. This is not just a trip but a pilgrimage to feel a deep connection with spirituality and nature. 9. Luca Fioric Hut. The Alps with majestic mountains stretching across 8 countries is an ideal place for nature lovers and adventurers seeking a sublime feeling. However, at an altitude of over 2,500 meters above sea level, there is something that makes this place more special than any other. Luca Fioric Hut is located on the summit of Vaontepin, built in memory of mountaineer Luca Fioric, who died in an avalanche nearby. This is not only an architectural work but also a symbol of courage and resilience. To transport building materials to this dizzying height, the construction team had to use 18 helicopter trips, an impressive feat under the harsh conditions of the Alps. With a sloped roof designed to withstand heavy snow, the interior of the hut is simple yet cozy with bunk beds and a small window, where you can gaze out at the entire majestic mountain range. What's even more surprising is that this hut is completely free for the brave souls who climb up to it. But don't let this free access deceive you. The journey to get here is a real challenge, requiring endurance and a strong spirit. Standing here, you will distinctly feel your own smallness amidst the vast nature. This is not just a destination, but an opportunity to test your limits and enjoy the feeling of touching the sky that no other place can offer. And so, through the journey of exploring these isolated wonders around the world, we not only admire the spectacular beauty, but also understand more about human courage and perseverance in facing the harsh challenges of nature. Lonely lighthouses, huts hanging between heaven and earth, or small houses in the middle of rivers remind us that, whether living in isolation or in harmony with nature, humans always find a way to create their own unique imprint, connecting with the world in a truly special way. If you found this story interesting, please subscribe to join us in exploring more wonders from all over the planet. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't. Thank you for taking the time to watch. See you in the next videos.